And we are live. What's good, Joshua, man? DL Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast. What's happening, y'all? Told you guys I'm going to be all over the place. I'm going to be on just random times doing what we do, just trying to do whatever I can to get the algorithm to like our content. I think I know what the problem is. I started out as a red pill guy in the red pill space, and I do believe that YouTube does not like this content. I'm going to do a show on that. Like, what is wrong with, red pill? Like, we get it. There's some crazy actors in the red pill space, but there's some really good information over here. And there's some good people over here pushing a good message, trying to encourage young boys and men to be men and to lead from the front and show them how to do it. And to tell them what to look out for, and kind of explain the rules. So I don't have a problem with it, but yeah, there's some bad actors out there, some really bad actors, and I get it. But, like I said, mainstream media is talking about it. It ain't going nowhere. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today, we're here to talk about some police brutality, man. There's no other way to say it. It's such a good thing that law enforcement have to wear cameras. Cops are out here doing a lot of bad things. And it's funny, the way they're so brazen with it. It screams that these guys aren't, these men and women aren't trained properly. I mean, that's bottom line. That's what it is. Cops need more training. They need to be paid more. It should be one of the most difficult career paths that we have in the civilian world. It should be very rewarding, but that's not what we have right now. What we have is a bunch of, we just got a bunch of dumb people with guns and badges. And if we didn't have cameras, they would get away with deleting people, taking people's freedom. Why are they doing this? Are they evil people, or they're out here to do all this stuff on purpose? I don't think so. Not most of them anyway. They're just poorly trained. So we're going to get into, I want you guys to watch this story, this unfolded in Central Florida. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed. And I know I'm on a regular random time, so I don't expect too many people to catch me before this stream is over. Maybe we'll get a couple, but it's the middle of the day, and I got stuff to do later. I'm going to try to jump back on later on this evening. I'm definitely going to do a quick video in the car today. I want to talk about the $230 million that Donald Trump is trying to take from Americans. We definitely got to talk about that. That's, and that's not, I'm just going to give you my thoughts on that just randomly. But let's get into this. This article here, this is from Fox 35. We'll just read this real quick. Fox 35 is reporting. Again, this is in Florida. This is Central Florida. It's a little bit south of Orlando. Fox 35 is probably the Orlando affiliate covering this. But the brief is, a 71-year-old man is suing St. Cloud after being bitten by a police canine. Police body footage shows officers pushing him to the ground while he remained unarmed. The case raises questions about use of force practices and canine deployment protocols. And again, this is St. Cloud, Florida. A lawsuit has been filed against the city of St. Cloud after a man was bitten by a police canine during a confrontation outside his home. New body camera footage provides additional details of the encounter, showing the canine attack and the aftermath. So you got body footage out here that not only shows the canine attack and the aftermath, whatever, but it shows the lead up. The next video we're gonna look at is the civil rights lawyer, and this is what he does. He goes around and he just talks about the Fourth Amendment, and he goes around and he shows, what the police are out here doing, and he actually, this is a real practicing lawyer. He goes out there and he helps people get compensation, and he lets people know what their rights are. New body camera footage provides additional details of the encounter, showing the canine attack and the aftermath. What we know, a 71-year-old man, Manuel Martinez, has filed a lawsuit against the city of St. Cloud after being bitten by a police canine, and they named the dog Coda, during an encounter outside his home. One report describes Martinez having becoming irate and began aggressively approaching officers. We're going to get to watch the video, guys, so you can tell, you can make up your own mind on that. Though Martinez maintained he was complying, body camera footage shows him arguing with officers as they ordered him to get on the ground. Police said they feared Martinez might reach for a weapon. They thought though he was unarmed and his hands were visible throughout the incident. A corporal pushed Martinez face down into the grass while canine Coda bit his arm. Officers later described Martinez's movement as an aggressive ground fighting position. Well, I've never heard that one before, though Martinez's attorney, Dan Tharin, criticized the use of force. The confrontation stemmed from an earlier incident in which someone allegedly was struck with a firearm. Police interviewed witnesses, but no injuries were confirmed, and no person was and one person was reportedly intoxicated. St. Cloud officers would later coordinate in a nearby park to plan to call Martinez to either interview or detain him, depending on his compliance. Martinez maintains he was attempting to follow their instructions. No charges were filed in the incident. Martinez spent several days in the hospital following the canine bite and later required additional surgery on his shoulder. Damn. Canine handler under scrutiny. Officer William Wagner, who deployed Coda, which is the canine, is under scrutiny. He previously failed an application to other agencies, did not pass St. Cloud's written exam on the first attempt, and has only one prior reprimand for insubordination in 2023. So this is a police officer. Sounds like he's been a cop before in other places. And they're saying he failed a written test when he first applied here in St. Cloud. I'm not going to go hard on him too much for that. Written tests can be hard. Some people don't test well. It is what it is. But it looked like he did pass it probably the next time. He did have one reprimand for insubordination. Who knows what that could have been? He could have been, dealing with an asshole or whatever. Y'all know how that goes. But they say he's under scrutiny. So, it is what it is. Sorry, my throat is all clear, clogged up. No Diddy. There we go. That's a little better. So let's get back to it. What we don't know. It remains unclear why officers approached Martinez with long guns, sidearms, tasers, and K9 unit for what was intended as a question session. Yeah, we're going to see that. We're going to see more of that in the next video. The next clip we're going to pull up. The lawsuit does not yet detail what compensation Martinez is looking for, how the city plans to respond. Investigators continue reviewing body camera footage and police reports. The backstory. Police reportedly met earlier in the nearby park to plan the encounter with Martinez, which could have involved an interview or detention, depending on his compliance. Martinez says he believed he was following instructions when approached by heavily armed officers. What are they saying? Martinez's attorneys argues that the police overreacted, applying excessive force to a complaint individual. I read that wrong. Applying excessive force to a compliant individual. Sorry about that, guys. He was in a completely submissive position right then, and they could have asked him any questions they wanted. Why force his face onto the grass? I'm not sure what the purpose of that was, said his attorney. So, and it continues. The attorney says, I really don't understand why there were long guns along with sidearms, tasers, and a K9 unit to go ask the 71-year-old man some questions. That's what, the lawyer, that's real. Why do you need all that? This kind of could have been handled calmly. As soon as he comes out of the house armed with what is clearly a phone and nothing more, why weren't the guns dropped? And the conversation brought to a normal tone. And yeah, that's real talk. That a link to that story is in the description if you guys want to check that out or send that to some friends or something like that. bro, that's real talk. So law enforcement today, and again, thank goodness for cameras, because police has been doing this forever. This is nothing new, guys. It just, the only thing that's new is technology. Cops have to wear cameras. So you get to see everything they're doing, what they're thinking, what they're saying to one another and all that. So what basically happened was this guy, this Mr. Martinez dude, he was at one of the local bars drinking, and someone said that he pistol whipped another person with his sidearm, right? That's what they were saying. He's saying he got pistol whipped. He pistol whipped somebody, got into a fight, beat somebody up with his gun, then he went home. Police came to the bar and they started asking questions, right? They doing what police supposed to do. Hey, what's going on? What's happening? So people would, hey, that's the guy that got beat up over there or whatever. Hey, what happened? And all that is in the video from the civil rights attorney. You can watch that. It's about a 35-minute video. You can watch everything, like from the time the cops got on scene at the bar up until they had the guy in custody after the dog bit him and all that kind of stuff, right? So the police talked to two guys, and two of the guys that they're talking to have been drinking for quite a while. You could tell these dudes were visibly drunk, right? And just kind of, at one point, it sounded to me that one of the police officers was trying to get the guy to make a statement a certain way. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good, fam? I see you, man. How you feeling? You know what I mean? Good to have you. Thanks for stopping in. There's the button right there. Shout out to you. So, again, police are good at doing this sort of thing, bro. They'll go in and ask you questions or try to lead you to answer a certain way, right? You will make a statement and then they'll say, are you saying that you felt that this person was endangering you, or this person brandished a weapon, or this person did this, or whatever. And then they just wait for you to say, yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So that was, that's the thing. Okay. So police do this as a matter of routine. I've seen this growing up, dealing with cops. They do it all the time. So, but when we grew up, there were no body cameras. There was no evidence. So when the police write down what they're going to write down, that's it. That's what the court looks at. As if cops never lie, as if cops never plant evidence, as if cops don't break the law, right? So you get to see this all in the footage. You got multiple police officers going around talking to people. They're one of the guys, it was two guys. There was the one guy that was, allegedly assaulted, and there was another guy who was the witness. Both those dudes were drunk. They were drunk. And law enforcement was talking to the second drunk guy, and that's what they were trying to feed him, how to make these statements. Then a police officer gave him some documents and said, hey, we need you to write down what you say. You need to fill out this report. And the guy was just kind of like, I don't think he was sober enough to write. He was saying, oh, I can't read this. He's kind of looking at the forms. I don't think he wrote anything down, but that's all in the video. We're not going to watch all that because, it's like 35 minutes and all that, but we're going to cut to the chase. The police officers then left that scene. They all rallied up in a point. They all got together, and there's a video of them sitting around talking to one another. And they're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. They got all their weapons out. They got their, assault weapons. They got their military gear, right? They got all this stuff, which they don't need. And they haven't earned the right to use in public, in my opinion, because they don't get any real training. But anyway, these are regular beat cops. They come together. They pull out all these weapons. You got a sergeant on the scene. You got a bunch of other officers. And they're like, okay, we're going to go this way. And then we're going to have some people cover the back of the building, go that way. We're going to have the K9. We're going to get him to come out. And if he comes out, we're going to, do this and do this. You can just see them planning out what they're going to do. So they roll up on the guy's house. Very nice upscale home. You can tell the two dudes that they were talking to, the alleged victim and the witness, I'm pretty sure those guys cannot afford to live in a house that Mr. Martinez lived in. He lived in a very, very nice, very, very well-maintained, nicely manicured subdivision. It was like upscale, nice. And Mr. Martinez, well-dressed. I mean, he's casual, he's just cool. Beard is nice and groomed. He got his hat on. He's coming outside like what? So what they did, the police called him on the phone. And they said, hey, why don't you come outside? We want to ask you a few questions about what happened at so-and-so bar. And he's like, okay. So he comes walking outside. He comes outside and he sees all these police officers heavily armed, got all these weapons pointed at him, got this dog, everybody screaming at him. It's like, what the hell? Me, I would have turned around and went right back in the house. Right? But this guy, he was just like, screw you. He starts screaming back at the police officers. So the police officers meet him with on 10 when it comes to like force and all that. They come there, they're on 10, screaming at him. He's screaming back. He's not scared. And then, you know, they tell him, they're screaming out all these different commands. You have multiple police officers saying multiple things. So when they made their plan, they didn't designate one police officer to say, hey, man, you're going to do the yelling. You're going to give all the commands. We're just going to sit back and cover you, which should have been the first thing that they said. Like, hey, you're going to be the one giving the commands. Why do you want to do something like that? Because there's only one command being given. If you come out as a police, if you're dealing with law enforcement, if you've ever dealt with cops, right, you know that if it's multiple police officers, they're all screaming different things. It's not just like, hey, you know, put your hands up, get on your knees, turn around. You will hear each of those orders coming from different police officers. One guy saying, put your hands up. One guy saying, get on your knees. One guy saying, turn around. And I'm using guy as a non-gender term, men and women, it doesn't matter. Right. So you just had 3 orders from police officers who have their weapons out, by the way, and they're pointing their weapons at you. You can tell that they're amped up. So let's say you don't put your hands up. Let's say you turn around and get on your knees. So the person who told you, now you got people screaming, don't move again. So it's like, don't move. Don't move. Put your hands up. Don't move. Turn around. Don't move. Get on your knees. You're trying to figure out what to do. They close in on you. They jump on you. Now you got, you know, you're getting punched. You're getting pushed down to the ground. You're getting your face thrown into the dirt or whatever, or the cement or the grass or whatever the case may be. Someone's got their knee on your back. They're, you know, telling you put your hands behind your back. They're screaming, stop struggling or stop fighting or whatever. Meanwhile, you're just being compliant. Like, I'm not resisting. Right now, we got all this on camera. So you can see all this on camera. Like, it's clearly that the guy is being compliant. Mr. Martinez comes out. He's shocked because he's faced with these people with these weapons, pointing their weapons at him and screaming. And they got a dog. And the guy with the dog is like, he'll bite you. I'll put the dog on you. He wound up doing just that. You can see the dog is latched onto this man and is holding him. So, and while he's down, they're still, telling him to stop. At one point, one of the police officers was screaming, don't grab my gun or something like that. Who would grab a rifle? Right? You're being jumped on by multiple cops. Who would grab a rifle? Right. So it's just insane, complete chaos. So they do all this. They finally get the guy set up right. He's handcuffed. He's sitting there. Mind you, there's no warrant for his arrest. Mind you, the police still don't know what happened at the bar. All they know is what the 2 drunk dudes told them. They still don't know what happened. Remember, they came to get his side of the story. They called him on the phone and said, hey, man, will you come out so you can tell us what happened? The guy comes out like, oh, OK, good faith. He comes out and now he's attacked by a bunch of people, a mob with guns. Right. So they sit him up, and now the sergeant, the same sergeant who was in command and had that quick meeting, came up with this plan. He's sitting there trying to talk in a soft tone. Oh, we just want to ask you what was going on at the bar. Meanwhile, Mr. Martinez was like, fuck you. I want my lawyer. I'm suing you guys. What are you doing? This is outrageous. Why did the dog bite me? Right now, the police is like, oh, no, you should just calm down. Calm down. Right. Are you high? So I just wanted to give you guys all that. That's the backstory. Let's check out the civil rights lawyer. And if you guys haven't checked out the civil rights lawyer on YouTube, you need to check him out. His link is below. Bro, he covers all this stuff. He does a great job. This guy, and guys, if you have a couple dollars that you can donate and you're looking for a good cause, donate to what this guy does. Right? Donate to this guy, and he has like links to ongoing cases that they're trying to, handle. Donate to these guys because it takes a lot of money to go through the court system. And one of the main tactics for city governments or the people with money is to draw the stuff out as long as possible. They draw it out. It's just more fees, more time, more money. And that's how they beat a lot of people. They can settle some stuff because they're like, I don't have enough money to keep doing this, man. Let's just go ahead and settle. But these are the lawyers that'll that'll sue the city for you. They'll sue the state. They'll sue the federal government, whoever they got to sue to get these road cops under control. So this part of the video, the civil rights lawyer is talking to the actual lawyer who's representing Mr. Martinez, and they're kind of going over, kind of just summing up what happened and why. And keep in mind, guys, this is early on. This case is not going to take long for Mr. Martinez to get paid. I guarantee you, it's not going to take long for him to get money. They're just going to figure out how much money does St. Cloud have. I mean, if it were me, this would be tens of millions of dollars. I mean, just the type of violation. It would be, I would have the city of St. Cloud pay me money. Part of the agreement will be all the police involved will have to be fired. All of them involved will have to be fired. And then I will go after them as well. I'll sue those cops once they got fired, because this qualified immunity stuff, there's no way a judge is going to give them qualified immunity for what they did. But let's listen to what the civil rights lawyer has to say.
Upload it as I can if people want to see it to my raw footage site, especially since I have to censor some of this here. So after this happened, Mr. Martinez was seriously injured, and I believe he had to stay in the hospital for like 3 days. Of course, the cops trumped up a bunch of charges against him, but guess what? When the prosecutors saw this video, including presumably the two clearly drunk guys who were making the allegations against him, they dismissed all of the charges against Mr. Martinez. He hired a civil rights lawyer, Daniel Faherty, out of Titusville, Florida. He has now filed a federal civil rights lawsuit. He's also the same lawyer who is representing the veteran family who was invaded by the Seminole County Sheriff's Office that I did a couple of videos ago. So check out that as well. I did have a phone conversation with Dan Faherty, and this is what he had to say about this incident.
They started off as doing a normal, reasonable investigation into a possible crime, and all they had to do was continue to do a reasonable, normal police investigation by contacting the one person that they had not gotten a statement from yet, the person who, of course, was the victim and who was defending himself. At least that's what the courts certainly determined, or the prosecutors determined when they dismissed the case. And that was get a statement from Mr. Martinez. That could have been by a telephone call inviting him to come down to the police station, or to set an arranged time to get a statement from him, or just take a statement from him, a recorded statement from him over the phone with his permission, and then decide if you had enough information to get a judge to issue a warrant for his arrest. That would have been the normal way to complete this criminal investigation. Instead, they got out all the toys that apparently had been sitting in the barracks, in the St. Cloud Police Department back room, unused, and they got all of their toys out and decided they were going to do a SWAT assault on a residential lakeside home. When you look at the video, you can see what kind of neighborhood this is. This is not a crack house that has guns pointing out the windows.
To be clear, they did not have an arrest warrant or a search warrant when they showed up.
And of course, the answer to that is no, they didn't. The thumbnail I made was, I showed a police officer with all his gear on. It's like, man, they got too much gear. It is too much gear for cops. A lot of police officers, a lot of people in law enforcement, they think they're military. They want to be military. They think they're high speed because the stuff looks cool. But the thing is, first of all, they had an opportunity to enlist the United States military and try to be one of the best, right? But they didn't. They decided to be cops. Okay, fine. But police officers don't get any real training with this high speed gear. This is military gear. This is stuff that the military sells to the states, and then the states go ahead and gives it out or sells it to the smaller municipalities. They just give this stuff away, basically. I think Obama did this. He was big on this. He would take all his military gear and give it out to the cops, whatever, have these big urban tanks, and everything. They don't need all that. They really don't. It's just the bottom line. They don't need all that. We went from the cowboys out in the Wild West with a 6-shooter and a badge to guys geared up like they're Green Berets or Navy SEALs. The difference between the military guys is training. Like, the military guys get hundreds, if not thousands of hours of training on each particular piece of gear. They know how the stuff works inside and out. They can break the stuff down, put the stuff back together. They know how to fix it in the field. All that stuff. And, you know, most police officers, man, you give them an AR style weapon, they can't field strip the thing. That is a lack of training. So that part about, well, you know, they set it all up in this great neighborhood. They bring out all the toys. If you give a bunch of people this type of equipment, they're going to figure out a way to use it. They're going to have it with them. Like, why did they even have all that stuff? When I can understand having a shotgun or an AR in your trunk. I get that. There are times police officers are going to need some additional firepower. But I just think that they need to be trained better and they need to be paid more. Because when you guys watch the video, and I encourage you to hit that link, man, check out that video. When you see them all sitting around coming up with this tactical plan to go talk to a guy. Remember, this guy didn't have a warrant. This guy wasn't wanted for anything, right? There was no probable cause to do any of this. They went into this man's property and did this stuff to him, bro. That is absolutely illegal. Those are federal crimes, right? And then you got a prosecutor who looked at the evidence and all the charges that the cops came up with. They threw everything at the wall. Oh, he did this, he did that. They threw everything at the wall. Prosecutors like, no. And they probably took it all the way back to the beginning. Well, he assaulted these people with a weapon. If that was the case, then the prosecutor would have put that in front of a grand jury and went and got charges for him for assault and battery or assault with a deadly weapon or whatever type of assault that is. And it looks like that the prosecutor was like, nah, man, that was self-defense. The dude was in the right. In fact, go get the drunk dudes. You know what I'm saying? But man, I would definitely fire these police officers.
No, they didn't. What they did was they lured him out of the house by calling him on the phone and telling him they needed, that they were outside. You know, I'm outside. Can you come out and talk to me about what happened at the restaurant today? And he did. And you can see he still has his phone in his hand when he walks out of his door and on over to his driveway, as if he had either just hung up or might have even still been on the phone looking for whoever wanted to talk to him and ask him questions about what happened there. And instead, he's got, I don't know how many long rifles pointed at him from every direction. They surrounded. They sent 2 guys back to behind his house. Like, what was he going to do? Mm-hmm. Run out the back door and swim away in the lake? I mean, the whole thing was so over the top, and all these big bruisers of cops were all over the place, pointing semi-automatic rifles at him when he walks out his door, and then they start screaming at him, and of course he's like, "Oh, what are you going to shoot me? Yeah, I'm in my own yard. You're going to shoot me now?" The cop that had the dog, and again, don't know what the dog was even doing there, but as they're approaching and as they are screaming at him, orders, they're not asking him any questions. He's not under arrest. They're just screaming at him.
So there we have it.
That video, man, that video is crazy. I'm going to run this back and see if we can find a part where, let's see if we can find it. So this is him coming out the house, bro. And he's got his hands up. He's coming out the house. You can clearly see he has his hands up. So let's listen to what these police officers are saying.
Apply with the orders that he's actually given.
I'm having my fucking asshole. Shoot me. Come on. Get up. Wait up there. Why are you doing that?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground now.
Why? Get on the ground.
Get on the ground. You're going to get bit. Get on the ground.
They shouted him to get on the ground. What does he do? He gets on the ground. Did they ask him specifically how they want him on the ground? No. They said, get on the ground. He got on the ground. And that's when we see the...
So this canine officer, again, you're going to have a canine officer there. There's no reason to have the dog out the vehicle. If Okay, we want a canine officer there. Fine. The dog stays in the vehicle. The canine officer stays close to that vehicle. If they need to get the canine out, they can get the canine out. Why is he already out? This doesn't make any sense. This is poor training. This is poor training. This is a bunch of guys who are out here thinking they're doing a good job. They're going to wind up, all of them are going to get bad paperwork. They should get fired. They might fire the canine guy because he barely got hired in the first place. Right? Get on the ground, you're going to get bit. The guy's on the ground already. He said, get on the ground. He's on his knees. They didn't say lay on your face. Right? They didn't say get on your stomach. They didn't say lay on your back. They said get on the ground. He got on his knees. I mean, what else is he supposed to do? Then the guy comes up with the dog, like, get on the ground, you're going to get bit. Dude, I'm on my knees. He's on his knees when he's saying that. I'm telling you, man, this canine guy's going to get fired.
The canine sort of lurched towards Mr. Martinez. And you'll see that this canine is being used as a threat. They can see that this man is unarmed. He showed his hands when asked to do so. He got on the ground when ordered to do so. Yet they are still pointing their rifles at him, and they are threatening him with this weaponized pet. And it was not a hollow threat.
Bro, look at that neighborhood. Dude lives in a great neighborhood. This man's done well for himself. Like, look at that neighborhood, bro. Look at that neighborhood. You can see the neighbors off in the distance on their, like they're on stoops or whatever, on their walkways, kind of looking, trying to see what's going on. They just embarrassed the hell out of this guy. Like, who is Mr. Martinez? I knew it, Mr. Martinez. He's probably a drug lord. I knew it. You got people out here trying to figure out what's going on. Or you may have some people out here just like concerned, like, that's our friend. We know him. What are the cops doing? Mind you, the man is on his property. Without a warrant, police can't even get on your property, bro. He's on his property. He came out the house. Again, if I come out the house, if the police call me and say, hey, I just want to talk to you about something. If I walk out my house and I see a wall of cops with their weapons, I'm going back in the house, closing the door. They can't come in. If they come in, they really got a problem. I'm going back in. They don't have a warrant for my arrest. We just want to talk to you. You talking to me now, man. In this call recorded? Well, call me back on the recorded line. Or I'll come down. I'm not coming down now. I'll come down when I get ready. You know what I mean? I'm calling my lawyer right now. Right? Something like that, bro. Something like that. But these police officers, bro, they're out of control, man. And we got Dusto in the building. Scam Likely. What's good, fam? Let's continue.
Face down! Get on the ground! Do it now! Hey, go. Take her.
He's surrounded by officers giving him conflicting commands. He's demonstrating that he is not an immediate safety threat to anybody. At least one of the multiple officers around him apparently wants him to be face down on the ground. He doesn't appear to hear or understand that that's what they want. So this is what they do. One officer grabs him by the neck to push him forward, and the other just straight up kicks him in the back. And
the guy that's kicking him, that's the dude with the AR style weapon. And that weapon is suppressed. Why do you need a silencer on your AR? You see what I mean? They got too much stuff, man. They got too much stuff. If you got a problem with this guy, why aren't you using your taser? Y'all see that thing on this dude's hip with the little neon yellowish outline? That's a taser. If you got a problem with the dude, tasing. Why is the dog there? And the dog is still there. I'm telling you, this canine handler right here, this dude is going to get fired.
Even further downhill from there, because here comes the dog for really no other reason other than they want the dog to get some experience biting. It sounds like the canine handler says, go bite, and that is exactly what happened. By the way, remember these two guys who were standing like a couple of houses down in the backyard of this neighbor's house? They hear what's going on.
You're giving him commands, I can hear him yelling.
And they're not at all surprised to hear that the dog bites this guy. In fact, they sort of turn towards each other and they celebrate the dog's first bite.
St. Cloud, we're going to need EMS. Male, the dog bite.
That's Wager's first bite. Well, if they bit him, we can go this way.
I will f***ing shoot you! Stop! Stop resisting! Get your hand off my gun!
Let's just take a moment here to really appreciate what the St. Cloud police here are doing and sort of simultaneously telling this man to stop resisting. And it sounds like they're telling him to get his head off of his gun.
Stop! Stop resisting! Get your hand off my gun!
While one
So that part right there, get your hand off my gun, bro. That guy's ready to fire his weapon. Why is he so close with his weapon in the first place? You have 2 officers here. You have another 2 officers behind the building. You have more, it's probably more officers behind him. If you're supposed to be the guy providing cover with the biggest weapon, then you need to be back providing cover. Look, you got a police officer who's over here at the door talking to, appears to be talking to the wife or whoever that woman is that came out the house. Right, there are other police officers here. If you are the one with the AR and if your job is to provide cover, then you need to be back so you can provide cover. Again, poor training. These guys don't know what they're doing. It's not really their fault. They're just poorly trained. It is something we're doing testing in the building today for smoke detectors. So that's why you're hearing the beep. That's not because we got to change the battery. It's not the quick beep. They're doing actual testing. So sorry. You know what I mean? And man, Jill's like, yo, they all need to be put in jail. Yeah, bro, they do. Definitely need to lose their badge, and they should never be cops in America again.
one huge cop off to the right has a hold of the guy's leg. The dog viciously has a hold of the guy's arm, and one of the cops is just basically like poking the guy with the suppressor on his AR. If only he would stop resisting, am I right?
Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Okay. Stop resisting. Okay.
Stop resisting. He's coming on.
All right.
The dude's not even moving.
All right.
He's coming on.
I'm going on.
Jan, take the female. Take the female.
While there are multiple issues occurring here, multiple constitutional violations, the biggest issue here is the fact that these officers are using a canine to seize somebody, as if the canine was a person who could just grab onto somebody and seize them or arrest them, as opposed to itself being a violent use of force that injures somebody seriously.
Mind you, this guy had to spend 3 days in the hospital, probably due to that bite and due to him being aggressively handled by law enforcement. Bro, I'm here to tell you, man, like, this dude has a clear-cut case. It's not if he's going to get paid, it's how much are they going to pay him. They're probably just negotiating right now. Like, you know, dude is going to walk away with 7 figures plus. There's no other way around that. Dude's going to walk away with a chunk of money. And those police officers should be fired. And like Mandrell said, I mean, they should really be prosecuted. Those guys should be fired. And if I'm Mr. Martinez, I'm suing the individual cops, all of them that were involved, even those 2 dudes that were behind the building, I'm suing them too. They should be fired too. None of those police officers stood up and said this is wrong. None of them. And I'm trying to find the part where they were talking to him. They let him up and they were talking to him, because I want you guys to hear the difference in their tone. Because oh boy, it was like, oh, here it is. I want you to hear the difference in their tone. And at that point, they even tried to bring the dog back. The canine officer was very aggressive and threatening with that canine. And the dog is just doing what the dog is trained to do. There's nothing wrong with the dog. But it seems that might be a thing in their department. Oh, we got to get these dogs trained on biting people, which means y'all probably don't even need a canine. Y'all probably don't even need canine officers in St. Cloud. You probably don't even need to do it. Mandrell saying that's nothing to do with training. Like, they're just assholes who never should have been cops in the first place and need to be in jail. Hey, that's coming from a Green Beret. Mandrell's a Green Beret. He'll be the first one to tell you. The amount of training he had to go through to earn his beret was just the beginning of his experience. Right? The time you spend on that gear, you're not wearing the gear in the military just to look cool. You're wearing the gear because you need it to accomplish your mission. My whole point is most of these police officers and these police, these police departments across the country don't need this shit to accomplish their mission. That's it. If you got a special weapons and tactics unit within your police department, fine. Those guys shouldn't be on the street like that. They should be training. Right? I mean, that's just my take on it. I'm not in law enforcement, but let's watch this part. This is when it's all over. They got him up and they're talking to him. Listen to the tone and listen to what these cops are saying. It just shows how dumb most cops are. And this is the sergeant. This is the guy who's in charge of all this. Right? He certainly should be fired. But it's just like, bro, you're stupid. Don't say nothing. This is what tells me these guys, they don't know the law. They don't know what they're doing. Again, I apologize for that. And it's not the beeping thing. We're running tests on the fire system. We had some issues over here. So, but let's watch this part real quick.
Hey, well, we just wanted to talk to you. Wait, what?
I told you to come outside. I told you to
guys
come
come
over here.
outside. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing.
Right. So all I needed you to do was come outside, comply like you were with me
I
on the phone.
comply. But
Okay.
you got me rifles and everything.
Right.
Why? Palestinians. No, he hit me.
Okay.
He's trying to kill Americans.
I hear you.
And I defend myself.
Right.
And after see weapons partners, I'm a reason.
The reason is- right.
You defend a freaking Palestinian mother.
Right.
That's what it
The
is.
reason we're here is because someone was hit in the head with a gun.
No.
Right. And then you didn't call the police, so that's why we came.
First,
We're here to get your side
no,
of the
witnesses
story.
there.
Right.
I want to sue you guys.
Okay.
Believe me.
That's fine. But the reason we're here is because someone was hit in the head with a gun. The reason we came with
No,
rifles.
he hit me first.
Okay.
I'm defending myself.
I understand
Standing my
that.
ground. I'm going to call my lawyer.
That's okay.
Evelyn,
What first aid
Evelyn,
did you do?
call the CCA.
Say again?
The phone is
What
there.
first aid items do you
Call the guy
I
there.
got it. He's good.
I'm going to sue you guys. Call Melvin, please.
And there's a lot more.
And you heard what he said. He's like, man, call a lawyer. He told to his wife, call a lawyer. You got the sergeant sitting there like, oh, someone was hit in the head with a gun. So what? We were coming to get your side of the story. Why did I get bit by a dog? Why are y'all here with rifles? You're screaming at me. What does that have to do with anything? Someone got hit in the head with a gun. And what you heard what the guy said, they hit me first. They attacked me first. I was defending myself. I have the right to stand my ground. You know what I mean? The dude didn't shoot him. Mr. Martinez didn't shoot him. He probably would have been well within his rights to. Right? It's like, bro, what are y'all talking about? You had him on the phone. You talk to him. Hey, man, you know, it's like, hey, man, we got this complaint, blah, blah, blah. And the cop is saying you didn't call the police. I don't have to call the police. The situation was over. I'm done. Damn. I do stuff live, man. They were supposed to do this yesterday. They didn't. And I just assumed they were on reschedule for next week. And here they are. Driving me crazy. I'm going to end it on that note, guys. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think. Don't clown me too hard with the alarm test going on. But I'll be back. I'll be back soon. This is a crazy story, bro. Mandrill, you're right. These guys should be locked up. It is what it is. I'm DL saying this is the I Really Want to Know podcast with all that noise in the background. I'm out of here. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.